Hello and welcome to Volleyball. In this video we are going to talk about 4-2 formation. It is the first formation ready for competition and beginners to adapt to volleyball game. Stay here and find out. The name of 4-2 formation is there because of the two setters in the team and 4 other attackers or receivers. If you remember from the previous 6-6 formation, we had all players play the role of the setter when they rotate on the position number 3. Once you have done that formation for some time in the practice, you may already have a good idea of the players that can play the role of the setter. You can prepare them for this. 4-2 formation is also a little more advanced because not only it includes rotation with the roles, but also has a position shift, as I call it, and I will explain that in this video. We have setters starting at positions number 3 and number 6. Keep in mind that these setters can start the game at any position like number 1, 4, 5, 2, but they must be at diagonal. This way, one setter is rotating to go and serve and in the second line, and the other setter is going from the second line into a first line or the front line to set. The rest of the players start on their other 4 positions. Usually, the best 2 receivers or spikers are put also on the diagonals, so when one rotates in the front line, the other is in the second line. Also, in the receiving phase, good receivers are better spread on the field when you set them on diagonal. With this formation and stage of learning they are right now, they're practicing receiving formation, setting combinations, they're covering of the attacker, double blocking, covering of the field. It is covering most of the basic elements of play. 4-2 formation is competitive for beginners and younger players. The basic goal to remember is to always have the front row setter to be on the position number 3 during the play. More important to note is that when the point is over, all players must go back to their positions of current rotation. For this formation, we must explain one rotation at a time as we see on the picture, and I'm going to show you them. And the first 3 rotations are different, and the other 3 are going to be like a mirror. So the first 3 rotations we're going to cover, and you can see the second, all those in the pictures without explaining because they are similar. At rotation 1, setters are in positions 3 and 6, the triangles in the picture. When our team is serving, no one changes places. On receiving, when the opponent serves, setters are on position number 3 and stays near the net, while the other setter on position number 6, with the rest of the team assumes the one of the receiving positions, U-shaped line or W-shaped receiving positions. And we will talk about that much later. So receiving goes in the middle, and the setter can set the front or back or in the second line. In the second rotation, the first setter is at position number 2. When it is our serve, as soon as the server hits the ball, setter and the hitter in the position number 3 change places. To receive, as you can see in the picture number 2, red receiver must pull back to the right so that they can form one of the shapes for receiving formation. And as you can also notice, first setter is all the way back to the right side of the line. The reason for that is to allow the red receiver to come from the middle almost all the way to the right. If the setter doesn't pull back and the receiver goes to the right, it will be a breach of rotation and it will be a point for the opponent. This way we allow 2 things to happen. Setter can go to his position to set as normal, and receiver is already to the side and ready to attack after the set. This is what position shift allows inside the formation. I call that position shift, and it is when one or more players need to move from his or her position to a better receiving, setting, or attacking position. But to do that, other players must adjust their positions so they do not make a rotation mistake. When that happens, all players that make the shift also assume better positions that fit into useful action. Below is you can see the simple example of the position shift in a 4-2 formation when our team needs to receive and one of the receiver needs to move near the sideline and gain the better position to prepare for the attack. You will also see more of these position shifts in the upcoming formations. At rotation 3, change happens. First setter goes to the serve, while the second setter goes into a first line and becomes the main setter. This one is the same as rotation number 6, but it is with a different setter in the first line. Also, here position shift we just talked about happens just like that. It's perfect example. When we are serving, setter, the green triangle, is switching places with the receiver in the middle and stays in the middle to do his job while the receiver spikes on the side. When we are receiving, a player in the position 3 shifts to the left as far as he or she can to form a receiving formation. This is why the setter needs to be as near as possible to the left side. As soon as the ball is served, the front setter runs into his or her setting position number 3 and stays there until the end of the point. Rotation 4, 5, and 6 bring the same order and movement of the players as rotation 1, 2, 3, but with a different other 3 players. So this formation brings a first new complicated thing into young players' game. It will be difficult at first, but if you let them rotate during a few games, they will catch up. For young players, less explaining, more gaming helps better. In the meaning of diversity of attacking, this formation is pretty basic. As we want setter to go into middle, he is able to set the ball to the sides. For beginners, setting forward and backward is all that it takes. Also, you can throw in the attack from the second line to mix it up, and this also allows setters from a back row to spike if they can. As for defense, this simplicity does not bring any complication, so the young players can really focus on the ball and their task at protecting the field. It helps for all players to grow and for setters also receive and play defense. The negative side of this formation is that it fails in diversity of attack, and that makes it easier for advanced formations to play better in the defense against it. It has mostly side attacks and maybe with a slower attack from the back row and just that, and it gives opponent a better chance of outplaying. In the end, what may also be mentioned, I have described rotation number 1 as setters on 3 and 6, and also you can start your game with rotation number 1 and put them in any position, but they must be a diagonal. You can put one setter on number 4, and so your rotation number 1 will be rotation number 3, for example, or something like that. By changing this, you will not change the formation, you just change rotation numbers, but you can find some tactical benefits to it against the opponent, and I just wanted to emphasize that you have an option there, so however you like. I want you to have fun trying and let us know how you are preparing for this. Have you tried it, how it is? So thanks for watching, and as always, like, share, follow, and have a great volleyball day.